Media mogul Rupert Murdoch faces a deposition in the British Parliament on July the 19th, 2011.
I would just like to say one sentence. This is the most humble day of my life.
The 168-year-old British tabloid News of the World, once owned by him and recently closed, has been caught hacking into telephone lines for gathering information.
I was appalled to find out what had happened. I'm crying and I apologize.
The Indian news media picked up the story. Every news channel went out of its way to showcase the criminal depths to which journalistic ethics had fallen.
The world's most powerful media mogul is being interrogated literally in the gaze of the entire universe.
Is this the hubris of one man? Is it a larger issue on media ethics?
For anyone interested in the business and ethics of news, this has been a remarkable week.
A scandal that has left the United Kingdom shaken at the way its national media works.
And if you ask me, Rajdeep, Rupert Murdoch was lying through his teeth.
This spurt of enthusiasm by the Indian media for the unacceptable behaviour of some British journalists was curious, especially when considered in the light of its own credibility, which has been questionable for some time.
It's raised fundamental questions that go to the core of journalism as well as media ownership.
April the 1st, 2010. It's Judgment Day. A report is awaited, and the stakes are high. On one side is the Indian press, targeted for corruption.
Editors in respectable houses have now become fixers.
It is alleged that both the print and electronic media are neck deep into the business of paid news.
Temptations are greater, money is greater, seductions are greater.
Paid advertisements are published and broadcast in the guise of news.
Every single aspect of news we think is up for sale.
On the other side is a two-member committee set up by the Press Council of India. The committee has investigated all the allegations and is ready with its report. The fourth pillar of Indian democracy is on tenterhooks.
The fourth pillar of democracy should not become the fifth column of democracy.
This film explores the murky underworld of paid news.
There is corruption by omission.
Of journalism where money speaks.
A sports page looks like say a Stardust page.
We find out how and when the business of news replaced news.
They make money to make you. They make money by breaking you.
We investigate the dark secrets behind what's termed breaking news.
Media is a circus.
In April 2011, 4 states and 1 union territory elected their governments. A vast polling exercise involving over 150 million voters. The Election Commission of India had to issue more than 200 notices to politicians and their parties for planting campaigns in the garb of news. In October 2010, there were assembly elections in Bihar, the third most populous state in India. More than 100 notices were issued by the Election Commission to paid news offenders.
Most of them admitted that it was paid news and decided to account for it in this statement. But we feel that is not the end of the matter, because it is not just a question of accounting for the expenses, but there is also an element of deception.
In October 2009, Maharashtra went to the polls. Politicians were living on the edge. Positive media coverage was vital. The stakes were extremely high. A media house had a business proposal. Up for sale was news space. 20 lakh rupees or 40,000 US dollars for 15 days of general coverage. 15 lakh rupees or 30,000 US dollars for 10 days. For exclusive coverage, the rates were higher. 25 lakhs or 50,000 US dollars for 7 days. 22 lakhs or 44,000 US dollars for 4 days. And for a fixed price, exclusive interviews were assured. There was also a flexi pay offer, 50% cash and the rest by cheque, or 100% in cash. If this sounds like fiction, look at the bare facts. Ashok Chavan wants to be re-elected and wants to continue as Chief Minister. 72 hours before polling began, 2 news articles appeared in 2 rival dailies of Maharashtra, Lokmat and Maharashtra Times. The articles in both newspapers were identical, and both paid glowing tributes to Ashok Chavan. 3 days before, the same article had appeared in another Marathi paper, Pudhari. The same article with 3 different bylines. Was it a case of 3 minds thinking alike? When, in April 2009, the Assembly and Lok Sabha elections were held simultaneously, P.K. Ramarao, a candidate from the Lok Satta party, was promised positive media coverage in lieu of payment.
I gave the money to the sales, to the advertising agent of Enadu on 9th April. About 50,000 rupees I gave in cash. He did not give any acknowledgement or any receipt. He wanted the money to be paid in cash only.
P.K. Ramarao took care to include the sum he paid as part of his election expenses, in a declaration now mandatory according to Election Commission rules.
After the money was paid and then after the management was satisfied, after I struck a deal with the newspaper, then my coverage got improved. Almost I got a half-page coverage, and then I was interviewed. See, all this is self-evident. It is self-explanatory.
The case was taken to the Andhra High Court, where it is still pending.
As a newspaper or a channel, especially in the interior areas, mufassal areas, are identified with a particular party or a particular candidate. Now that paper or that channel will then start airing all kinds of accusations against their rivals. And then the paper or the channel goes to the rivals and says, look, this is what this guy is saying about you. He's saying you're this, you're that. Now what do? So they say, well, if you want space on our channel, this is how much it will cost you.
Congress is ready to create history in Bihar, screamed a banner headline in the Patna edition of Hindustan in April 2009, when the first phase of polling began in Bihar. There was no news item related to the headline, far less an explanation of how Congress intended to create history in Bihar.
The whistle was blown when some papers made more money and some made less. So those who made less money then started whispering among themselves about how some others were making a lot of money. And then, of course, the English media picked on it and made it an exclusively vernacular issue, which is also not correct. Vernaculars have the largest reach and therefore they were very visible. But major English language dailies have been smoking a peace pipe with corporates and also with major political parties for a long time.
Take the case of MediaNet, a Times of India initiative that began at the turn of the millennium.
First, you want to cover celebrities, then celebrities want to be covered and like being covered. Then they're told, okay, you like being covered, now pay to be covered. I mean, that's what the Times Group did. They said, you know, why are we carrying so much PR stuff? Let's get them to pay for it. And that's how you had this company called MediaNet that was created.
What started with page 3 has now spread to other pages. The regional media has followed the trend set by the national media. Forward-looking politicians are taking it to the next level. They are no longer interested in buying media, they much prefer ownership. Down south, everyone worth their political salt owns a TV channel. Karunanidhi's nephew, Kalanidhi Maran, owns Sun TV. Karunanidhi's family also owns Kalanyar TV. AIDMK Supremo Jaya Lalita runs Jaya TV. Actor-turned-politician Vijay Kant runs Captain TV. Congress leaders run Megha TV and Basanta TV. PMK runs Makkal TV. Sakshi TV and the Sakshi newspaper belong to Jagan Reddy. Telugu Desham Supremo Chandrababu's son is the CEO of Studio N channel. The Inadu Group allegedly has loyalties towards the Telugu Desham. Telangana Rashtra Samiti has launched its own TV channel, T News. H.D. Kumaraswamy has his own TV channel, Kasturi. The Reddy brothers of Bellary fame have their own channel, Janshri. CPIM-backed Malayalam Communications runs 3 TV channels. Congress has Jai Hind Television. M.K. Munir of the Muslim League runs India Vision TV.
If you go to Nagaland, the Chief Minister is associated with a newspaper. If you go to the Northeast, there's a channel called News Live, which is owned by a political family in Assam. So there are more and more examples. In Orissa, a lot of newspapers have political affiliations.
1999, Manu Sharma, son of a billionaire politician, shot Jessica Lal because she refused him a drink.
We want justice! We want justice! We want justice! We want justice! We want justice!
After years of a long trial, Manu Sharma was sentenced to life imprisonment. In 2008, the Sharma family launched media companies.
There are other reasons for getting into the media without wanting to be in the media, and those reasons, which are that people want political power, they think that if you have media you can persuade politicians, you can blackmail people, etc., etc., all the wrong reasons.
India News was a weekly launched by the Sharmas. Sudhir Saxena edited India News. In less than 3 years, the publication became popular in Jharkhand, Bihar, and eastern UP. But the weekly's popularity wasn't enough.
प्रबंधन की ओर से लगातार ये दबाव बनाया गया कि मैं पत्रिका को ब्रेक इवन में लाने के लिए विज्ञापनों के रूप में मैनेजमेंट को सहयोग दूं, और बाद में तो बहुत स्पष्ट रूप से कहा गया कि आप प्रति माह लगभग 5 लाख रुपए के विज्ञापन लाके मुझे दें ताकि पत्रिका ब्रेक इवन में आए, अन्यथा पत्रिका को बंद किया जा सकता है.
Sudhir Saxena was not prepared to play ball.
एक संपादक का विज्ञापन प्रभारी या विज्ञापन के प्रतिनिधि के तौर पर अवमूल्यन मुझे कतई स्वीकार्य नहीं था. इसीलिए अंततः मैंने बाध्य होकर 30 मार्च सन 2010 को वहां से इस्तीफा दिया.
Editors such as Sudhir Saxena, willing to stand up to the management or an owner, is a species fast on its way to extinction.
you control the editor and you virtually control the paper. And so I keep hearing from younger people how editors in respectable houses have now become fixers, in that they actually travel location to location, meet up with the local government officials and solicit Department of Audiovisual Publicity, DAVP advertising, and make sure that it is in substantial amounts, and 3/4 of their work, when they are not working as editors, goes in chasing these. And in this, the stringers are great help to them. Then the MLA's champu comes in handy. फिर वो MLA साहब से कहेगा कि सर जी ये अपने संपादक जी आपसे मिलना चाहते हैं, 2 मिनट के लिए इनको चाय पिला दीजिएगा. इनबॉक्स संपादक जी, MLA विल से कि ये लड़का कह रहा था कि आपके यहाँ सब एडिटर की जगह खाली हो रही है, क्या इसका कुछ हो सकता है? हाँ जी ज़रूर देख लेंगे. वो ज़रा सा DAVP ऐड की बात थी. हाँ हाँ सर जी हम देख लेंगे.
कुरुक्षेत्र.